God's masterpiece.
Tonight, a little reward for the sacrifices we've made. South Australians enjoy a sit-down coffee for the first time in weeks as restrictions ease. Grey nomads on the move, bringing welcome relief for our tourism operators. Dashcam vision released of the dramatic moment an officer was mowed down by a driver fleeing an RBT. And 16 quarantine pros handed a suspended one-match ban for breaching AFL training rules.
This is 10 News First Adelaide with Rebecca Morse.
Good evening. South Australians took their first tentative steps back to normal life today with the chance to sit at a cafe, albeit outside. But hotels and larger restaurants say the state's roadmap to lifting coronavirus restrictions won't work for them. They're asking for more people to be allowed to return sooner, and they might just get it.
Easing restrictions has been on the burner for weeks. And the first non-takeaway breakfast was back.
It's great to be back at work, and hopefully as things go on it can roll on a bit more.
And if the customer's always right, there are plenty of opinions in the mix.
I've been waiting for it for several weeks, anticipating the day.
This is a little reward for the little sacrifice that we made.
As long as people don't get too complacent, I think that's the fear.
Cafes and restaurants were finally allowed to remove chairs from stacks locked away, but only 10, and they must be outside.
A place like this has got a lot of expense, and you need a lot of people to sit down to survive. Yeah. But it's a start.
And just a stepping stone to reopening limited indoor dining next month, when you'll also be able to get a drink.
Cafes, restaurants and pubs are going to be open for alcohol from the 8th of June.
What is sobering for workers on the parade is how fortunate they are, given the Centrelink queues across the road remain.
Very lucky. I'm starting to get used to that line being there.
But hotel staff are still out of work. The industry says the Stage 2 plan to reopen pubs for 20 people indoors, regardless of venue size, is unviable. They need more patrons sooner.
It costs roughly about $18,000 a venue just to turn the key, open the door. 20 people in the venue at any one time is really not going to cover the kind of turnover required to actually make a profit. Let alone recoup mounting debt.
With no revenue. And there's going to be a number of them don't make it to the other side.
We're trying to work through with the industry how we can get them back to being viable as quickly as possible, but we've got to do it in a safe way.
Brett Clappis for 10 News First.
And the state's economic road to recovery continues, with tourism operators and sports clubs gradually opening for business again. Caravan parks have been swamped with new bookings as travellers get their first taste of freedom.
Grey nomads Peter and Joy Bennett haven't been able to move far in recent weeks, but they're ready to return to life on the open road.
It's excellent because at least now we're able to go out and have a look a bit more around South Australia. We full-time live in our van.
Caravan parks welcoming their first new visitors in months after regional travel was given the green light to resume.
Our phones have been ringing Friday afternoon all weekend and people placing bookings, which is really exciting for us.
Team sports are also returning to the training track, and while football has been bumped back till next week, soccer's kicking off tonight under strict guidelines.
We split the pitches up into thirds, with no more than 10 per third. Players are asked to come ready to train. Club rooms won't be open.
For junior training, parents are being asked to keep their distance.
Only one guardian per child is allowed to attend training. We would like them to stay in the cars. We've all got a very big responsibility to make sure we do this in a responsible way.
School sport will resume training from today, but competition won't go back until at least the second stage in early June. While public swimming pools are able to reopen their doors, North Adelaide Aquatic Centre is one of many that isn't diving back in just yet.
Because of the numbers of the people that can actually go into the centre, we need to wait for those restrictions to lift just a little bit more before it's safe for everybody to go swimming.
Cam Inglis for 10 News First.
In Canberra, it's largely been about the common good so far, but the government and opposition are now on a collision course over COVID-19. Peter Van Onselen joins us live. Parliament resumes tomorrow and we should expect some fireworks.
There'll certainly be fireworks. Well, to the extent that there can be in a socially distanced environment. We've got to remember dozens of MPs still aren't coming to Canberra for the sitting weeks, but the Labor Party is certainly going to go after the government on the state of the economy, and in particular the packages that they're putting forward to try to retain jobs and also try to stimulate the economic growth that we need to get out of this coronavirus economic crisis. That is where the debate tomorrow will start. Reports the $130 billion JobKeeper program might be readjusted.
We are just now starting to reopen our economy.
Required a Prime Ministerial clarification today.
All of this is very premature.
Premature?
We are 6 weeks into a 6-month program.
You opened up this speculation last Friday.
There was a review built into JobKeeper to be done before the end of June.
But are the reports accurate?
We've put the commitment in to support Australians over that period of time.
Whew, that's a relief. A commitment without caveats.
And as we need to adjust based on advice and the strength of the economy and how many people we're getting back into jobs, well, these are the things we'll be watching carefully.
Labor is carefully watching what might happen, telling 10 News First.
And this will just add to people's feeling of insecurity if the government from day to day is changing what it says might happen.
The opposition leader has broader concerns with the program.
Well, the problem is people who've simply missed out. Casuals, visa holders, there's the whole of the arts and entertainment sector, basically haven't had any support during this crisis.
While the government may look to shorten the 6-month JobKeeper package, Labor says it might need to run longer.
Clearly what you'll need is a transition out of it, not it there one day and gone the next.
Alongside other changes to how Australia does business.
Before the crisis, we had insecure work, we had stagnant wages, we had many people really struggling to get by. We need to not leave anyone behind.
Meanwhile, tomorrow was supposed to be the day the Treasurer delivered his back in black budget. Instead, he'll explain how much debt the government's racking up combating the coronavirus and how much damage is being done to the economy. It's now unlikely Josh Frydenberg will ever hand down a budget surplus. This tree just over my shoulder is known as the budget tree. Josh Frydenberg, as Treasurer, would have been hoping tomorrow to be doing all sorts of media around it, gloating about his return to surplus, back in the black, as those mugs so infamously put it. I think most Australians can forgive them missing the mark on that one, given that the money's being used to stimulate the economy as well as try and save jobs. Where people will become less forgiving is if they don't get the economy moving, and if indeed those unemployment queues stay too long for too long.
Thank you, Peter. A district court judge has released never-before-seen vision of the moment a motorist mowed down a police officer at an RBT station on New Year's Day last year. The court heard the incidents that left the injured officer questioning his career with the force.
You right? Go! Get a fleet! Get a fleet!
Mowed down at an RBT station, Senior Constable Samuel Petts moans in agony.
Set an ambo for me.
Police dashcam captured the white Mazda pulling in at Mile End moments earlier before abruptly taking off, causing the officer to fly over the bonnet and fall to the road.
Is it your leg? Where's my leg?
Driver Aman Quencia sped from the scene with officers in pursuit. The 24-year-old pastry chefs pleaded guilty to aggravated causing serious harm by dangerous driving over the incident on New Year's Day 2019, which left his victim with leg injuries.
Would you like to apologise to the officer?
His lawyer asked the court for leniency, saying he simply panicked after realising he was unlicensed and on a suspended sentence bond.
Yeah, just panicked on the night in question. And so 22-year-old men sometimes don't engage brain.
The prosecutor said there's a need to send a strong message to other road users given recent tragic events involving police officers simply going about their duties. That sentiment reflected in the officer's statement. This incident has left me questioning my career and considering quitting the police, as I feel these types of incidents are increasing and police are simply not supported. Quencia will be sentenced on Friday. Kate Summers for 10 News First.
The Porsche driver at the centre of Melbourne's Eastern Freeway tragedy that left 4 police officers dead is fighting for his freedom. But during the bail bid, it emerged Richard Pusey has allegedly fantasised about killing people and bragged about speeding up to 300 kilometres an hour.
Accused of taunting dead and dying police, Richard Pusey believes he should be set free. The 41-year-old today applied for bail. The magistrate hearing he has an extensive criminal history. The court heard during the Eastern Freeway tragedy, he filmed for more than 3 minutes. Opposing Pusey's release, the prosecution argued he would commence a campaign of harassment towards witnesses, had abusive and violent tendencies to police and the public. He seems to become fixated on people, and he's got significant financial resources to allow him to flee the state. The mortgage broker's lawyer tendered a psychology report arguing Pusey needed psychiatric treatment outside of prison. But the prosecutor pointed out that same report also showed he fantasised about killing people. The court also heard Pusey texted a friend weeks before the crash, bragging, "I did 300 in the turbo yesterday, it was amazing." Wearing a blue face mask and rubber gloves, Pusey sat quietly in the dock for almost 3 hours, occasionally closing his eyes as the prosecution and defence argued their cases on why he should or shouldn't be granted bail. Magistrate Johanna Metcalf will hand down her decision on Thursday. Jade Kotick for 10 News First.
Will Goodings is here with Sport. It's good to see you again.
Good to be back, Beck. Means sport's nearly here, which is great.
Absolutely. Now, the Crows have finally learned their punishment. Big news tonight.
Yeah, not great news for the Crows, but the AFL finally got around to it. Took all weekend, but finally the Crows are out of their misery for the bungled Barossa training session. Max Burford has been following this story closely. Max, what are the penalties?
Well, Will, there are all sorts of wild punishments flying around over the weekend, but here are the two the AFL have settled on, starting with the players. The 16 of them that were up there in the Barossa have been handed suspended one-match sanctions for the 2020 season. And Ben Hart, the assistant coach that was up there, he has been suspended, stood down for 6 weeks. Now, the AFL, when they released these punishments, had this to say in a short statement. They said, "We all have a very clear responsibility to ensure we do everything we can to stop the spread of the virus. The protocols are clear and the actions in this matter, whilst not pre-planned, they are a breach of them." Now, Ben Hart, he will not be allowed into the club until June 22nd. He won't be allowed to contact players in this time either until then. As for the players' suspensions, those bans, they're going to hang over their heads for the entire 2020 season, but they won't be added to any on-field suspensions, just off-field integrity issues. The Crows, they say they're remorseful a short time ago in a statement, and will, as you are a Crows man, I'm sure that given everything that was flying around on the weekend, you're probably not too unhappy with this.
Yep, it seems to be a punishment befitting the crime, Max, that's for sure. Thank you. And a return to AFL action is a step closer, with restrictions on professional athletes finally eased in Victoria. Authorities in all states are allowing players to train in groups of up to 10, but the AFL has yet to give the clubs the green light. Current rules only allow workouts in groups of 2, with league bosses eager to maintain an even playing field. That's seen larger groups banned until players in each state were subject to the same conditions.
Training resuming paves the way for footy to be back, and I think we all want that, provided it's safe, appropriate and can be done in a cautious way, and I'm confident that it can be. A key issue for them was having a set of arrangements that were approved and developed so they could get training back. That's now no longer an obstacle.
The AFL Commission met today, but there's been no announcement on any changes to the current training restrictions. And Beck will have more on that story and indeed the Crows' punishment as well coming up later in sport.
Catch you later on. Thank you, Will. Still to come, COVID-19 re-emerges in Wuhan after a month of living in the clear. The Queen puts royal duties on hold as she bunkers down at Windsor Castle. And off to isolation, the US Vice President forced into quarantine as concerns grow about coronavirus exposure at the White House.
It's MasterChef's biggest ever twist.
You won't know when, you won't know where. We're going to throw a twist in the mix.
They can plan all they want.
We've come up with a simple menu. I reckon we'll be able to adapt.
But nothing
Everyone, stop what they're doing.
can prepare them for the twist.
You're joking.
MasterChef's Week of Twists, tonight on 10.
When a cold disturbs your family's sleep, Vicks Vapor Rub relieves cough, nasal congestion, muscle aches and pains. They sleep, you sleep. Vicks Vapor Rub. relieves 4 cough and cold symptoms.
Being stuck at home doesn't have to mean being stuck for things to do. Because if you take a look around, there's inspiration everywhere. Ryobi 1 Plus. 1 plus U equals endless possibilities. Available at bunnings.com.au.
Harvey Norman presents your Westinghouse kitchen in premium dark stainless steel. Create healthier, tastier meals with air fry. Available across the entire dark stainless steel range. Steam Assist will add moisture to your roasts whilst leaving a crisp, golden finish. And baking with steam gives you a better rise, crispier crust and fluffier centre. The steam reheat function is perfect for your leftovers. And for a thorough, chemical-free clean, the pyrolytic function will easily remove grease and grime. See the new range from Westinghouse in-store and online now at Harvey Norman.
If you're a small business, you've probably got a lot of questions right now, which is why you should speak to a professional accountant who's trained in planning and cash flow management strategies. For further support, contact a professional accountant today.
Enhance your home with blinds from Dynamic Home Enhancements. Dynamic offer the ultimate blind solution for any outdoor area. Call Dynamic today and get 33% off your blinds, plus free installation. Plus, get no deposit, interest-free finance, and seniors get an extra 10% off. Call Dynamic now to enhance your home, add value, and save on your blinds.
Dynamic Home Enhancements.
You know, I found a dead body yesterday.
No mercy for an
I could have saved this girl. There's only one person you need to save.
The brand new series, Hightown, now streaming only on Stan.
Have you been missing Mel, Lloyd and Celia? Well, they're back with Ed and Sam on the new season of Have You Been Paying Attention? Tonight.
Tonight, as Australia starts to open back up, how easing restrictions looks different depending on where you live.
We're introducing you to the unsung heroes of the pandemic. Tonight, the supermarket workers who formed the front line.
And we find out just how you can pickle all those leftover groceries you panic bought, because lockdown won't last forever, but all those bloody cucumbers can.
All that and more at 6:30. See you then.
There are mixed messages out of Washington tonight, with the US Vice President's office denying reports Mike Pence is in quarantine. More than a dozen people working at the White House have tested positive to coronavirus. US correspondent Eamon Ashton-Atkinson with the details.
During the pandemic, sometimes Mike Pence has worn a mask, other times he hasn't, insisting he's low risk.
Since I don't have the coronavirus, I thought it'd be a good opportunity for me to be here, look him in the eye and say thank you.
But by Friday, the Vice President found out he has been exposed by his press secretary. Yet after learning this, he went to Iowa and no, he didn't wear a mask.
It put the health and safety of the American people first.
Today it was revealed Pence has been quietly avoiding the White House since then, but after news of his self-isolation leaked, the Vice President's office denied he was in quarantine, saying he'd be back at work tomorrow. Not a good look for the President trying to reopen the country if he can't get his own White House in order.
Well, I'm not worried. No, I'm not worried.
But the disease may already be spreading in the West Wing. 3 members of the coronavirus task force are in quarantine, including top Dr. Anthony Fauci. The president's own valet has it, along with 11 Secret Service agents. Yet Donald Trump still won't wear a mask. Mike Pence's self-isolation wasn't the only bad news to hit President Trump today. New projections show the virus could kill up to 137,000 Americans by August, much higher than expected. Eamon Ashton-Atkinson for 10 News First, New York.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has announced his plan to ease the country's 50-day lockdown. From Wednesday, the 1-hour daily outside exercise limit will be extended. He's also encouraging people to return to work if they can't do it from home. By June, the PM wants primary schools to reopen, with restaurants to follow in July.
We've been through the initial peak, but it's coming down the mountain that is often more dangerous.
But he's already facing a rebellion from the leaders of Scotland, Wales and Ireland for scrapping Britain's stay-at-home slogan. They say the new message of stay alert is confusing. The Chinese city of Wuhan has recorded its first cluster of coronavirus infections since its lockdown was lifted a month ago. Health authorities announced 5 new cases today in the city where the outbreak is believed to have begun. All of those infected live in the same building and weren't showing any symptoms. On Friday, the Chinese government unveiled plans to gradually reopen cinemas, museums and other recreational facilities. More than 250 people have been arrested during pro-democracy demonstrations in Hong Kong. Police quickly moved in after small flash mob protests sprang up at several sites calling for independence from Beijing. Hong Kong opposition leaders accusing authorities of using the coronavirus pandemic to clamp down further on their freedoms. South Australians shivered through a chilly morning. Kate Freeman, it is the start of a cold week for us.
Well, Beck, we've still got a couple of weeks left until winter, but already the chill is setting in. This morning I went outside when I woke up and I had frost on my windscreen, and there's more of this weather on the way this week. It'll be our coldest mornings across South Australia so far this year, with temperatures dropping into the single digits almost across the board. Today Adelaide had nothing on the regions. It dropped to 8 degrees in the city, but the coldest place was Yunta on the way up to Broken Hill, where it hit 0. The Clare Valley wasn't far off. It dropped to 1 degree this morning, and the Barossa went down to 2 degrees. Later this morning it warmed up. The clear skies that brought the cold morning also brought a lovely sunny day. It's been so nice right across South Australia, with some people out taking a break, enjoying the sunshine in a city here in Rymal Park. Well, tomorrow's not looking too bad. We're heading for a top of 19 degrees in the city. It'll stay dry for most of the day, but then we're in for more rain tomorrow. It should arrive around this time. Beck, I'll have more details later in the bulletin.
See you a bit later on. Thank you, Kate. Up next, why it could be half a decade before the nation's back in the black. Plus, the life-saving medical check left in limbo by lockdown, how you could be at risk. And months after the flames were extinguished, yet more promises of help for our bushfire-ravaged communities.
Look what's on the must-see Monday menu.
It's time to shake things right up.
At 7:30, MasterChef's must-see biggest ever twist will blow your mind.
Our next one is a beauty.
Then you better pay attention to these must-see lockdown lols.
How are you enjoying waking up early and getting to do your shopping before everyone else?
It's going to be a long season, folks.
Did we say you must see it? Tonight on 10.
Meet Rego. He has a knack of popping up when you least expect him. Hello. 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 So when Rego pops up, remember, choose QBE for CTP.
Rodents in your attic or walls? With 25% off rodent control.
No worries with the team from Murray's.
I failed maths, Dad. I can't concentrate on anything anymore. You were the only one who understood me.
It's hard enough for anyone to lose a family member to cancer. For young people, the impact can be devastating.
Mum should be here. I can't keep pretending to be okay. I feel like I'm falling apart. I can't cope.
At this vulnerable age, grief can bring with it depression, anxiety, and isolation.
I can't talk to Dad about how I'm feeling. I don't want to make him any sadder. I miss you so much, Mum.
Will you help Canteen reach out to a struggling young Australian and give them the support they urgently need? Just $5 a month could help. Please call 1800 960 174 or go online and support Canteen today. When cancer has taken one life, don't let it destroy another.
Butter, bechamel and bacon. The greenest thing to hit the pan tonight is natural gas. Instant heat and that sense of control. It's the secret ingredient of any master pasta chef. Love cooking, love natural gas.
Australians of all ages are choosing Light and Easy. Light and Easy can even assist those on aged care home care packages. If you or someone close to you could benefit by having healthy meals delivered, call us on 13 15 12.
When life gives you dirtiness, God
Godfrey's gives you cleanliness, with products to keep every surface free from spills, dirt and allergens. For a clean and healthy home, Godfrey's Cleanliness.
Keep running, training, walking, keep working. The Athlete's Foot gives a fit about helping you stay you safely. Find your perfect fit from our range of brands at theathletesfoot.com.au. The Athlete's Foot, here to give a fit.
Creating the ultimate memories sometimes means creating the toughest stains. Improved Omo Ultimate is Omo's most powerful laundry liquid. It attacks your tough stains first time and whitens and brightens. Try Omo Ultimate.
I'm going to propose. That's great.
How to Stay Married, Tuesday on 10.
This is going to be the best proposal ever.
They created a viral sensation for $14.
Beach Diz.
Meet the blokes behind Beach Daz.
Oh, no.
Plus, Under the Tuscan Sun author Frances Mays shares the secret Italian escapes you need to add to your post-ISO bucket list. We're living La Dolce Vita tomorrow on Studio 10.
Today should have been filled with predictions about what the budget will hold tomorrow, but with so much economic uncertainty, the Treasurer has pushed it back until October. However, we did get some numbers today. Deloitte Access Economics has done some modelling and it thinks we are on the cusp of two of the biggest deficits in our history. For this year, it's anticipating it to be more than $143 billion. Next year looks a little better at more than $131 billion. Compare this to last December, not too long ago, and it looked a lot different. Treasury was predicting back then a surplus of $5 billion. Now, any positive numbers are unlikely until the middle of the decade. The key, of course, to getting back to normal is getting people back into jobs, and the government has predicted that we will be at an unemployment rate of 10% by the June quarter. Deloitte thinks we will be waiting until 2024 to get back to our pre-pandemic levels of 5%. So it will be quite a long time before things get back to normal. But let's take a look at the markets now. And the ASX 200 finished the day up by 1.3%. Some of the biggest gains came for travel and consumer shares, with a lot more optimism about the economy reopening. Webjet was up by close to 20%, and NAB was the only of the big four to finish down. Right now, the Australian dollar is buying just under 65.5 US cents.
A new danger is emerging from the COVID-19 crisis, people missing vital medical checkups. Melanoma is one such threat, where any delay in diagnosis and treatment could be deadly.
Actor Jessica Stafford has fought off some tough customers on screen, but none so life-threatening as melanoma.
I'm lucky to have my leg, I'm lucky to have my life.
As an aspiring actress, Jessica sunbaked for that perfect tan, but what also developed was a malignant mole, removed safely because it was caught in time. She's now speaking out after latest research confirmed Australians are avoiding skin checks because they're frightened of contracting COVID-19.
And they're thinking, oh, I might go when everything settles down. And my message is that they should go and they still be going to their doctor and they still be having their checks.
Because melanoma won't wait.
It can appear within a matter of weeks, and then within a matter of weeks progressively increase in size.
New statistics suggest we're our own worst enemies. Almost 2/3 of Australians still actively tan because they believe it makes them more attractive. 9 out of 10 people understand sun exposure can lead to melanoma, but less than 1 in 5 protect themselves. And only about 10% of us are having an annual skin check. Even Jessica admits she thought about skipping her 3 monthly skin check because of COVID-19.
I was hesitant too, you know, I thought, oh gosh, what's going to happen? You know, how important is this for me?
Melanoma safe advertising's already gone down the shock and awe path of the anti-smoking lobby, but with little impact on case numbers. Sun lovers 30 years of age and younger still among the worst offenders, despite a lifetime of sun-safe messaging behind them.
COVID-19 should not get in the way of a skin check. It's critical during this time that you book in and don't miss.
Tim Collins for 10 News First.
Another life has been lost at Newmarch House in Western Sydney, the site of one of the country's deadliest COVID clusters. We'll cross live with the latest next. Plus, the city's parking inspectors are back, but why they're still likely to give you the benefit of the doubt. And Dean Laidley whisked away to rehab after being granted bail over stalking and drug charges.
It's MasterChef's biggest ever twist. They can plan all they want.
Everyone, stop what they're doing.
But nothing can prepare them for the twist. MasterChef's Week of Twists, tonight.
Thanks to Light and Easy, Australians of all ages can enjoy their choice of delicious, nutritious meals in the comfort and safety of their own home. Especially those at a greater health risk during these times. If you or someone close to you could benefit by having Light and Easy meals delivered safely with our contactless delivery service, visit lightandeasy.com.au or call us on 13 15 12.
What are you doing this weekend?
Just the usual.
Anaconda is your one-stop outdoor adventure store where you can play more and pay less.
Anaconda! Huddling at home? Try Domino's new Chicken Parmesan Deep Pan with 22 succulent chicken pieces and crispy rasher bacon from just $15 delivered. Order now with total peace of mind thanks to zero contact delivery from Domino's.
Adelaide's premium bike store, Bicycle Express, has some big news. We've made our showroom bigger to extend our range of bikes and accessories. And now we have our very own coffee station. It's that big. Thinking bikes? We have a huge range of road, mountain, electric and recreational bikes. They're all at Bicycle Express. Tour Bicycle Express at 124 Halifax Street, Adelaide and 138 The Parade, Norwood. See you for a coffee.
Thinking of buying your first home? With rates at historic lows, there's never been a better time. How would you like to be living at this fantastic lakefront development? One of these soon-to-be-built 3-bedroom, full turnkey townhouses could be yours from just $429,000. Perfect for the first home buyer and come ready to live in. So if you've been waiting for the right time to buy your first home, let Tips help you. For more information, go to our website or call Tips now.
Darkness and daylight, pleasure like a smile.
Experience the delicious intensity of Lindt Excellence. The finest dark chocolate crafted to perfection by the Lindt Master Chocolatier. Excellence from Lindt.
My grandfather, Bob Burns, started a family business in 1954, and along with my brothers, we are now the third generation to bring you quality products to SA. Factory made and employing South Australians, you'll love Bob Burns Blinds.
Get all the trusted brands in Dreamland's big brand sale.
Get into Dreamland and save up to 50% off mattresses. That's up to half price. Plus get great deals on beds and bedroom furniture. Only in Dreamland's big brand sale.
Dream big with all the big brands at Dreamland.
Australians of all ages are choosing Light and Easy. Light and Easy can even assist those on aged care home care packages. If you or someone close to you could benefit by having healthy meals delivered, call us on 13 15 12.
Have you been missing Mel, Lloyd and Celia? Well, they're back with Ed and Sam on the new season of Have You Been Paying Attention? Tonight.
This is Adelaide's 10 News First. Tonight's headlines. Cafes enjoying the extra trade as restrictions ease, but larger restaurants and pubs plead for a jump to stage 2, saying it's not worth their while to open unless patron limits increase. The state's caravan parks received a welcome wave of new bookings as travellers enjoy their first taste of freedom in weeks. And dashcam vision released of the moment a police officer was struck by a car when a driver attempted to flee an RBT. South Australians might be enjoying a slow return to normality with the gradual easing of some restrictions, but it also means being aware again of parking limits in the city, though the Adelaide City Council promises rules are not yet back in full force.
Adelaide is slowly coming alive. There are more cars on the road as people return to work, including parking inspectors. City Council confirming they're back on the beat, but won't be as quick to issue a ticket.
Well, as long as people are doing the right thing, so that's not being in loading zones or bus zones and things like that, which, you know, it's actually not that people can park anywhere they like in the city.
Though South Australians will be stung by an increase to hundreds of fees and charges from July, including motor registration, driver's licence renewal, Adelaide Metro passes and motorbike training.
The increases are small. It is a tough environment at the moment. That's why we've kept it to an absolute bare minimum, 1.9%.
With tens of thousands of people out of work, the opposition says every dollar counts, calling on the state government to freeze increases until July 2021 and wear the cost.
And governments have a far greater capacity to be able to withstand those shocks than households or small businesses.
The black hole in the budget will be big this year. It's not yet clear exactly what the deficit will be, but the Premier has ruled out introducing a COVID-19 levy to make up the shortfalls.
No, we've made it clear we're not interested in putting in new fees, taxes and charges.
Chloe Boris for 10 News First.
Just the pictures just in, and 6 teenagers have escaped a house fire at Blakeview. The blaze broke out in the garage of the Applecross drive home just after 4 o'clock. The teens were home alone. Fire crews managed to bring it under control, but it has caused extensive damage. The cause is being investigated. Football greats, including Dennis Pagan and Brent Harvey, have given their support to Dean Laidley as the former player and coach appeared in court in Melbourne. Laidley is accused of stalking and possessing drugs. The court hearing he's struggling with gender and mental health issues.
Dean Laidley's son Kane left the Melbourne assessment prison, where inside his dad was preparing to be taken away to a rehabilitation centre. The former Kangaroos coach was granted bail after being charged with stalking and possessing ice. Police accuse him of making more than 100 calls to an ex-partner, including 43 on one night. The court heard Laidley is dealing with a number of issues, including gender dysmorphia and substance abuse.
At the moment, his main concern is his mental health, which has been for some months now. Prior to all this started, his mental health has been very, very low.
High-profile AFL figures provided character references, saying the behaviour was out of character, including Dennis Pagan, Mark Williams, Guy McKenna, Wayne Schwass, James Brayshaw and Brent Harvey. And the AFL Players Association has agreed to fund Laidley's treatment at a private residential facility. The 53-year-old appeared in court via video link from the Melbourne Assessment Prison. He had his arms crossed for much of the hearing. Several times he looked down at the ground or held his head in his hands. He'll be back in court next month. Annie Kearney for 10 News First.
A Sydney mother whose protest arrest went viral after her screaming son was taken from her by police is back in trouble with the law. The beautician is being investigated for carrying on her business against lockdown restrictions, and that was before fresh drama erupted today.
It was an ugly scene, no matter where you were standing, as a screaming boy was snatched from his mother.
He needs to be with his mother!
On Saturday, Renee Altacriti was among around 40 people rallying or exercising their rights against the lockdown restrictions. She was eventually arrested and fined $1,000 for breaching the strict rules, after also refusing to give police her details.
The right to protest is one of the basic tenets of democracy, and that should always be available. But it worries me that they're compromising the health of the people they're protesting. I didn't notice good social distancing at those protests.
Now there's a suggestion she may have also been operating her cosmetic business against the COVID-19 rules. Just days ago, a member of the public inquired on the business's social media page, "Are you open for business?" The reply, yes. Police have confirmed they've received reports about it, and if proven, it could result in a $5,000 fine. That's a hefty prospect for the Sydney mum who was at the centre of more drama today.
Should you have had your child at protest release?
Since the weekend, Altacriti has reached out online to supporters.
Say thank you so much for everyone's private messages of love and support. Without you all, this wouldn't be possible. I really appreciate it.
A sentiment backed by another protester.
I will be doing everything in my power to get behind her
and make sure she gets justice.
Yet the message from authorities is clear. Overall, police are praising the community's behaviour amid the restrictions as we now prepare for some of them to ease. In a state of about 8 million people, just 1,200 infringement notices have been issued. All issued in a bid to keep coronavirus at bay. Alice Hogg for 10 News First.
Another elderly resident has died at an aged care home in Western Sydney, which is at the heart of one of that state's deadliest coronavirus outbreaks. Paris Martin is at Newmarch House. Paris, what's happened?
Beck, this is the 18th person to lose their life at the Newmarch facility. This patient had previously tested positive to COVID-19, but they then returned to negative results before they passed away overnight. Because of that, their death will not be included in the New South Wales coronavirus death toll. Now, we have heard from a woman whose mother passed away here over the weekend in very similar circumstances. She has told 10 News First she finds it incredibly distressing that her mother's death is not deemed to be COVID-19 related, as she is convinced this virus has weakened her mother, making her more susceptible to other illnesses. While the cause of death really is a matter for a medical examiner, Anglicare has offered its condolences not only to those who have passed away from COVID-19 related illnesses, but also that have passed away recently during this very difficult time. Beck?
Thank you, Paris. The Prime Minister has promised bushfire-ravaged communities across New South Wales they have not been forgotten, despite the shift in focus towards fighting the pandemic. Months after the bushfire disaster, some people are still living rough. Here's National Affairs Editor Hugh Remington.
How could anyone forget this? The coldest thing in a blazing summer was the reception for a Prime Minister, famously just back from his Hawaiian holiday and desperate ever since to make amends.
And a day has not passed in our government where those issues have not been getting the attention that they deserve.
The National Bushfire Recovery Agency has been spending money at twice the rate originally expected. They'll hit $1 billion by the end of June. But in Cobargo, the shops are largely closed, the ruins still riddled with asbestos, the people broken and desperate.
This community has been totally shredded, shattered, disassembled.
It's like we've been sort of forgotten about, you know, like it could have happened a long time ago, and it should have happened a long time ago. There needs to be accountability for the delays.
Andrew Hayden lost his cafe and half a dozen other properties. Until recently, he says, some people were still in tents.
One particular girl that moved into my place was sleeping underneath an Narooma bridge with a young 5-year-old child.
The federal government plan is to spend $2 billion on bushfire recovery, much of it driven by what local communities say they need.
Look, we're working very hard to make sure there is no blockage, and there are no blockages to how this money rolls out. And we are finding that the money is getting into individuals' and businesses' pockets very quickly.
Hugh Remington for 10 News First.
Up next, the AFL one step closer to announcing a return to playing. Plus, the Crows respond to their quarantine breach sanction. And later, a holiday you can sink your teeth into.
If you've got a story or pictures you want to share with us, you'll find 10 News Adelaide on Facebook and Twitter. And for more throughout your day, head to the 10 Daily website.
How the pandemic saw humble Aussie supermarket workers become heroes.
Have You Been Paying Attention is back, and everyone's loving it.
Yay!
Tonight, get all your lockdown laughs. Mel, Lloyd and Celia are back to play with Ed and Sam on the new season of Have You Been Paying Attention? Tonight, after MasterChef.
There are two ways to choose a new SUV. Old thinking, buy what you've always bought. New thinking, buy one on merit like the Havel H2. Old, pay a lot more for premium features. New, 7-year warranty, panoramic sunroof, Apple CarPlay and more for your money. Old, low price means less quality. New, German engineering, Swedish safety tech and European design. Havel H2 Auto, new car thinking from $22,990. Test drive today at Adelaide City Havel.
Yes, of course. The Crown will attend.
everybody.
All the entertainment you love, all in one place. Yours.
This winter, heat your home with SA's #1 Daikin dealer and save up to $1,000. Daikin technology makes heating your home efficient, and right now you can save up to $1,000 on any Daikin ducted system. Heat your home with climate and save.
Adapting to our new normal has been challenging, but we've all been doing our part to make it work. From the frontline responders and those taking care of the essentials, to the rest of us, keeping our distance and doing the right thing. It hasn't been easy, but we're making progress, so let's not undo all the good. Download the COVID Safe app and keep playing your part to help stop the spread.
Authorised by the Government of South Australia, Adelaide.
I can remember the doctor coming in, better say goodbye to him, Your whole life stops.
They told us to say goodbye to him. And that was a tough day, but he came back. It's changed a lot since Red's had the stroke. The support we get from ECH has just been tremendous. To have that extra help has helped us for him to be able to stay home.
At Yui, we're all about how you use or don't use your car. So we're giving our clients and new clients temporary relief on their car insurance premiums if they're using their cars less right now. Go to yui.com.au. Yui, you insured.
Right now, with Freedom by Metricon, you can get more home for less with this spacious 4-bedroom, 2 living room and 2 bathroom family home for just $169,900. That's more from Metricon.
We're going to throw a twist in the mix.
Nothing can prepare them for MasterChef's biggest ever twist.
Good evening. The AFL has handed down a twofold punishment for the Crows' quarantine breach. Max Burford, it wasn't as severe as some predicted.
Well, just quietly, I think the Crows were probably quite relieved when they saw what the AFL had slapped them with. The first of that's probably the worst bit. Ben Hart, he's been stood down from the club for 6 weeks until he can come back and help out. The second bit relates to the players. All of them up there in the Barossa have been given suspended one-match sanctions. There's 16 of them up there in total. They're mostly younger lads. Tom Duday's there, Fisher Mackesy, Lockie Murphy. There's also a senior player in Kyle Hardigan. Now, those bans, they're going to hang over the players' heads for the entirety of the season. They'll only come into play, though, if one has another run-in with the integrity unit, not just a standard in-game suspension. As for Ben Hart, well, the AFL found that he was actually supervising the 8-man kicking drill, which was in breach of the rules. So until June 22nd, Hart won't be allowed into the club or to talk to any of the players. Adelaide's bosses, they say they are remorseful about the whole incident.
We owned the error. We know that we shouldn't be training in any more than pairs, and we accepted that we'd breached that, and we're upfront with that. And thankfully, the AFL, through their investigation, it's shown that certainly it was inadvertent, and it wasn't a deliberate.
Now that suspension, it's unfamiliar territory for Ben Hart in his 311-game AFL career. He wasn't suspended once, as was pointed out by a statistician on Twitter, Josh Kay. So we'll overall, no good for Ben Hart, but for the club itself, I'm sure they'd probably take that suspension every day of the week.
I think you're right. Thanks, Max. The Victorian Government has paved the way for the return to football by allowing clubs to train this week. But there's a snag. Rob Waters joins us. Rob, just when will the clubs be back training?
Well, that remains the burning question. A big obstacle was cleared today when the Victorian Government eased restrictions and that allows its clubs to train. But the snag is The South Australian clubs, Port Adelaide and the WA clubs, still have players in quarantine. They're self-isolating, and for many that won't end until the end of next week. So the AFL wants fairness for all its clubs, and until that situation is resolved, it won't allow the Victorian clubs to train other than in pairs as they're currently able to do. But it was good news in a sense. The Victorian government has eased restrictions.
Training resuming paves the way for footy to be back. And I think we all want that, provided it's safe, appropriate, and can be done in a cautious way, and I'm confident that it can be. A key issue for them was having a set of arrangements that were approved and developed so they could get training back. That's now no longer an obstacle, at least from 11:59 p.m. tomorrow night.
Now, the AFL Commission has been meeting today. They're trying to resolve the big picture issues like fixturing and salary caps and how many people will be allowed to be employed by the clubs when they return. We do expect a comment tomorrow publicly from the AFL Chief Executive, Gillon McLachlan. We're getting there, but there's still a way to go for the return of footy.
Inching closer. Thanks, Rob. At times, there's been confusing messages from state governments and the AFL on a possible season restart. Things are about to change, but if the Eagles need any inspiration to get things moving, they only have to see the training load of new skipper Luke Shuey.
They've been sweating on the decision makers. And while waiting, the Eagles skipper continued to slog it out on the track.
Yeah, fingers crossed this time Wednesday we can have a few more boys down here.
The Victorian Premier made the pain all worth it.
We have agreed to a set of arrangements that will allow training for AFL, for rugby league, for other professional sports to resume from just before midnight tomorrow night.
Just becomes more realistic, doesn't it? Like you're not running around trying to cover 13k like you would in a game, just in twos. You have another 10 or 12 blokes to help you out, and as we get better, we can grow that to 15, 20, and before we know it, hopefully a full squad. So you can run proper training drills with a group of 10, and looking forward to that.
The league to take their time to respond and did have a minor distraction to deal with in the form of this interview with Eagles youngster Oscar Allen.
Jack Darling, Jeremy McGovern and the likes were all trained today in a group of 10. It was great to get, out in the oval and training, actually kicking the ball together.
For a brief moment, the Eagles looked to be breaking the rules, but the fallout was short-lived once it was confirmed that Allen's comments were pre-recorded back on April the 27th, before the AFL stopped WA clubs from training in groups larger than 2.
Yeah, all we've had from the club is stay in twos, don't go outside of that, stick to your programs, and I think everything is probably a little bit ahead of schedule in terms of where we thought we'd be when this all first started, which is a good thing.
When the season starts, how it will look and where games will be played remains a delicate process for the league, but it won't slow down Shuey and his teammates.
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm track fit. Get the balls out in a group of 10 in a few days' time, hopefully. It might be a different story. Stuck to my program, that's all I can do, so we'll find out.
Lockie Reid for 10 News First.
Another hurdle in the Premier League's return plans today. Brighton, the club of Australians Aaron Moy and Matt Ryan, has had a third player test positive for coronavirus. The deepening problems at the Seagulls have cast doubt over the entire league's restart.
At the end of the day, we've said it 1,000 times in the last 8 weeks, player and staff safety must be an absolute priority.
Even though fans will not be allowed in stadiums, the league's Project Restart faces resistance from clubs who won't approve plans to use neutral venues. Manchester City striker Sergio Aguero made his Formula One debut as the eSports series hit Spain, but he didn't worry the leaders, finishing 14th. George Russell went from pole to 5th on the opening lap. Then he copped a 3-second penalty for cutting corners, but his risky game plan paid off.
George Russell, pretend you didn't see Charles it. Got 3 seconds. 3-second penalty. Charles Leclerc's got a 3-second penalty. No way. And George Russell's on his way to the win.
The late drama cost Leclerc the race and handed Russell his first virtual GP win. Beck, it's good to be back, even if sport is still an anticipated thing.
Getting close to that.
We're getting there.
At least there's drama.
It's
always drama.
Exactly right.
Thank you, Will. Rain's on the way tomorrow. Kate Freeban has all of the details for you next. Plus, the Port Lincoln Tourism Company diving in with an audacious plan to hook new customers. And the alarming item found with a huge stash of the drug Fantasy in Salisbury.
A small team of staff trying to keep Virgin in the air next.
It's MasterChef's biggest ever twist. They can plan all they want.
Everyone, stop what they're doing.
But nothing can prepare them for the twist. MasterChef's Week of Twists, tonight.
The biggest thing since joining My Budget is that we've eliminated almost all of our debt. And honestly, we have My Budget to thank for that.
Call My Budget now for your free consultation.
Look after your health online at health365.com.au with over 700 of your favourite Australian-owned health, vitamin and skincare products online, home delivered fast. Buy smart, buy Australian. Online at health365.com.au.
The espresso capsule from Law, the aluminium capsule designed to fit your Nespresso machine. Discover Law capsules and be captivated by a gold standard espresso.
It's a Suzuki in the City tradition to take a photo with you and your new car. So there's just one more thing that we need to do. Where's the car?
Where's Mum? I think I'll take one too.
Find your fun self with great deals, service and advice. Only at Suzuki in the City.
Felix, my ribbon. You clever cat. You want your doubly delicious.
2 irresistible flavours in one delicious meal. Felix, as good as it looks, doubly delicious. Double the flavour, double the taste.
Service is so good, I signed up my mum.
Another real review from a happy Aussie broadband customer. With thousands of 5-star reviews, an award-winning NBN network and all Australian support, you'll want to introduce us to your parents too. Aussie Broadband. Can't beat feedback.
Feed the family with Hungry Jack's new family bundle. Treat yourself with 2 Whoppers, 2 cheeseburgers, 4 small chips, 4 Cokes, 10 nuggets and sauce, only $24.95. Get takeaway, drive-through or delivery at Hungry Jack's.
I thought my teeth were clean, but my dentist said no, they're still plaque. Switch your brush from this to one with a rounded brush head.
Oral-B is rounded to reach between teeth and gums, gently removing plaque for healthier gums. Oral-B, brush like a pro.
Fly into Eagle Trailers and Campers for a great deal on our wide range of trailers, campers and caravans. We're open for business with stock price to go on camper trailers and caravans, single and tandem trailers, box, cage and tipping trailers, plus so much more. Already got a trailer, camper or caravan? Eagle are offering free pickup and delivery when you book in for service or repairs of your current tow. Spread your wings because an Eagle can go anywhere.
Have you been missing Mel, Lloyd and Celia? Well, they're back with Ed and Sam on the new season of Have You Been Paying Attention? Tonight.
Shark cage diving off Port Lincoln is one of South Australia's great attractions, but tourism companies are concerned it'll be a while before the market takes off again. One operator is now taking matters into its own hands with big plans to bring business to the region.
It's the adventure of a lifetime, a close encounter with a great white shark. And after months of staying away from our regions, people are being encouraged to dive in once again.
If you're a keen scuba diver or snorkeler and you love wildlife and you're not afraid of a little bit of cold water, this is the most pristine time of the year to get away.
But with the state borders remaining closed and few flights to Port Lincoln, tickets for the tours aren't being snapped up as quickly as they used to.
We would normally have 60 odd flights a week over 7 days. At the moment we've got 8 flights a week over 2 days, so it's pretty limited at the moment.
So rather than waiting for the fish to bite, the tour operators have found a new way to hook customers.
And if you can't get to Port Lincoln, we'll actually drive to Adelaide and pick you up. So in a sense we're doing takeaway shark cage diving.
The 2-night ocean safari tours will include a boat trip from Adelaide to Port Lincoln for shark cage diving and swimming with sea lions before being shuttled home.
People can't fly there, it's a long way to drive, so probably be a good trip over in the boat.
And we had floods and we had fire and now we've got the coronavirus, so we need to do something, to get people visiting our beautiful state. So yeah, I I'm all for it.
I think it's a great idea. Obviously, at this time, with things that are going on, we've got to be really innovative and people have got to think outside the square.
The boat will pick up passengers here from the Holdfast Shores Marina to start their tour, and at the end of the trip, they'll be driven back to Adelaide on a private coach with the option to stop at Whyalla for cuttlefish diving.
While we've got such restrictions, we've got to try and get to where the market is.
Tiffany Warren for 10 News First.
There's some more rain on the way for South Australia. Kate Freeman, when's it going to hit?
Well, Becca, it should stay dry in Adelaide for most of the day tomorrow. In fact, it's looking pretty nice with temperatures fairly mild, but by this time tomorrow, the showers will hit. We're expecting somewhere between 1 and 3 millimetres for the city, but it will clear up pretty quickly. That's the most rain we'll have all week. Tonight's weather photo was taken on the Murray River when the sun was coming up, casting a golden morning glow over the river, as photographed by Natasha. Back in Adelaide this morning, it was pretty chilly. Our low was 8 degrees. Today it reached 18, currently 15 degrees here in Rymel Park. Around the suburbs today it reached 18 degrees at Elizabeth, 19 in Murray Bridge, 17 in Glenelg and Noarlunga and 15 degrees in Mount Barker. Across the state, the coldest place was Yunta, which is on the way up to Broken Hill. It hit 0 overnight. It was chilly across the board with lots of spots in the single digits. Today it reached 21 degrees in Ceduna, 18 in Maitland and 16 degrees in Clare. Further south, some spots dropped to 2 degrees. Clear skies brought a sunny day. It reached 19 degrees in Port Lincoln, 17 degrees in Naracoorte and Mount Gambier. Interstate, Perth has recorded its coldest run of mornings on record for this time of year. Today the low was 6 degrees, but that was nothing on Canberra. It dropped to -3. Today Brisbane got to 25, Sydney hit 20 and Melbourne's top was 17 degrees. On the satellite photo, most of the cloud is over the north of our state. The charts show a large high that's moving off into the east. Tomorrow, a front will cross South Australia and that will bring rain. Looking around the country tomorrow, it should be partly cloudy in Brisbane, heading for 24 degrees. Sunny and 21 degrees in Sydney. Melbourne should reach 17. And looking to the west, Perth will have a warmer day up at 23 degrees. In South Australia, tonight won't be quite as cold as last night, but still very chilly in the Clare Valley, getting down to 5 degrees. Tomorrow morning will stay dry. The showers will move up from the southwest later in the day, a top of 20 degrees at Port Pirie and 19 in Maitland. Looking further south, the heavier showers will affect the Mount Lofty Ranges, the southeast and Kangaroo Island. Temperatures will hit 20 degrees in Renmark and Port Lincoln, 19 degrees in Victor Harbour, with a cooler 16 degrees in the southeast in Mount Gambier, and there is a strong wind warning for the lower southeast coast. On local waters, north to northwesterly winds will reach 15 to 20 knots during the morning, and by evening they'll shift southwest to southerly, with seas increasing to 1 to 1.5 metres. Around the suburbs tomorrow it should reach 19 degrees in Elizabeth, Glenelg and Noarlunga, 20 degrees in Murray Bridge and 17 degrees in Mount Barker with afternoon or evening showers. In Adelaide it's getting down to 10 degrees overnight, so not quite as chilly, and then tomorrow we're heading for a top of 19. It'll be partly cloudy for most of the day, with showers moving over Adelaide in the late afternoon and evening. And that rain comes with a cool change, which will bring us very cold mornings and cold days during the week. Tops of 16 degrees on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. Sunny and 18 degrees on Saturday, with morning showers on Sunday, but they will clear for a dry afternoon.
Making news this hour, a police officer has told a court of his emotional scars after being struck by a car while working at an RBT. South Australian hoteliers push for more patrons before a stage 2 opening, saying 20-person limits failed the pub test. And a spectacular safety blunder by motorists not heeding the mobile phone warnings. A police officer who was mowed down by a fleeing driver at an RBT station has told a court it's caused him to question his future career in the force. Dramatic body cam vision has been released showing the moment the officer was hit.
In a statement read to court, the police officer said the incident left him angry, depressed and questioning his career in the force. The shocking moment Senior Constable Samuel Petts was run down by motorist Aman Quencia was recorded on a body camera he wore on New Year's Day 2019. Police dash cam vision also captured the 24-year-old pulling over at the RBT station before abruptly driving off and striking the officer. The pastry chef has pleaded guilty to aggravated cause serious harm by dangerous driving over the incident which left Senior Constable Petts with leg injuries. Quencia's lawyer said he was unlicensed after being released on a bond by another court and simply panicked when he was pulled over. He asked for Quencia to be spared jail, but the prosecutor said given recent tragic events involving police officers, a message needs to be sent to the public. Quencia, who only spent a day in custody over the incident, will learn his fate on Friday.
Almost 300 drivers were caught using a mobile phone during a recent police blitz, including one woman who was holding a phone in each hand when she was caught on North Terrace. One man was checking his bank balance and fined $794. Police say they were offered multiple excuses from motorists during the 5-day blitz, but their clear message is don't be distracted. Life is worth more than a text or a phone call. 2 men and a woman have been arrested after a huge quantity of the drug Fantasy was found in a Salisbury home over the weekend. 90 litres was discovered in containers as well as a loaded rifle. The men, aged in their 30s and a woman in her 20s, have all been charged with trafficking a large commercial quantity of the drug, plus firearms offences. They were refused police bail. Outdoor cafes, caravan parks, sports training and open inspections all return to a version of normal today with limits. The Premier says he's open to calls from the hospitality industry to change its roadmap out of restrictions, but he won't move ahead of the health advice.
An open house and a reopening state.
We're back open for business and creating more jobs here in South Australia.
Day one of stage one, a relief for the real estate industry and keen home buyers.
That's awesome. It makes things a lot easier now because we've been doing a lot of private appointments and, virtual inspections.
The virtual inspections have been good, but it's great to see it in real life.
Cafes welcomed back diners, outside only, 10 at a time.
As long as people can continue to be safe and do the right thing, it's great to have it back.
Get back to the things we love.
But bigger restaurants and hotels say next month's stage 2, allowing 20 patrons inside, fails the pub test.
It's whether you're a very small inner city coffee shop or a very large suburban hotel with a capacity in excess of 1,000. The one size fits all disadvantages everyone.
The Premier is working with industry on possible changes, but won't be pressured.
There are plenty of people that are lobbying me, but quite frankly, we are making our decisions in South Australia based upon our health advice.
Caravan parks are welcoming their first new customers in months.
And our phones have been ringing Friday afternoon all weekend and people placing bookings, which is really exciting for us.
We full-time live in our van, so to be set in one spot has been a little bit difficult for us.
And while matches aren't back, training is, with soccer practising from tonight under strict rules.
We split the pitches up into thirds with no more than 10 per third. Players are asked to come ready to train. Club rooms won't be open.
For junior leagues, only one parent is allowed to attend training and they're being asked to remain in their cars.
Social distancing, they can get out of their cars, but it's not recommended. We don't want mass gatherings.
Cam Inglis for 10 News First.
The Prime Minister is rejecting speculation the government is considering winding back its $130 billion JobKeeper program. Scott Morrison dismissed questions about a possible shake-up as premature, but did leave the door open for the wage subsidy to be adjusted or targeted to industries hit hardest.
We are only 6 weeks into that 6 months. And as we need to adjust based on advice and the strength of the economy and how many people we're getting back into jobs, well, these are the things we'll be watching carefully.
But the opposition is still pushing for the scheme to be extended and include all casuals and some visa holders. Drivers are also warned that with restaurants and shops reopening and people returning to the city, so too are parking inspectors. Adelaide City Council confirming the streets are being monitored more, but insists inspectors will be flexible with cars parked in timed and ticketed zones.
Well, as long as people are doing the right thing, so that's not being in loading zones or bus zones and things like that, which, you know, it's actually not that people can park anywhere they like in the city.
Though the council still recommends off-street car parks. Crows assistant coach Ben Hart has been hit with a 6-week suspension over his part in the club's AFL training rule breaches. Hart won't be allowed back to the club until June 22nd, while the 16 players who broke quarantine in the Barossa Valley have escaped with suspended one-match bans.
We owned the error. We know that we shouldn't be training in any more than pairs, and we accepted that we'd breached that, and we're upfront with that. And thankfully, the AFL, through their investigation, has shown that certainly it was inadvertent, and it wasn't a deliberate.
While all states are now allowing professional athletes to train in groups of 10, the AFL has just announced it will be keeping its 2-player restriction for now. Police have released security vision of a robbery suspect who threatened staff with a knife and stole alcohol and cigarettes from an Edwardstown hotel back in January. The staff member was not physically injured, but the suspect remains on the run, and police ask anyone who recognises him to call them. Police are investigating an arson attack on a car at Ridgehaven last night. The white Hyundai sedan exploded into flames on Dale Avenue just before 10 o'clock. Police say the vehicle was set alight with a Molotov cocktail and 2 people were spotted running from the scene. By the time fire crews arrived, the vehicle was destroyed. The incident is not believed to be random. Football greats including Dennis Pagan and Brent Harvey have given their support to Dean Laidley as the former player and coach appeared in court in Melbourne. Laidley is accused of stalking and possessing drugs. The court hearing he's struggling with mental health and gender issues.
Minutes ago, Dean Laidley was whisked away to a residential rehabilitation centre after being granted bail. He was supported by his son in court as he faced charges of stalking and possessing ice. Police accuse him of making more than 100 calls to an ex-partner, including 43 on one night. The court heard Laidley is dealing with a number of issues, including gender dysmorphia and substance abuse.
At the moment, his main concern is his mental health, which has been for some months now. Prior to all this started, his mental health has been very, very low.
High-profile AFL figures provided character references, saying the behaviour was out of character, including Dennis Pagan, Mark Williams, Guy McKenna, Wayne Schwass, James Brayshaw and Brent Harvey. And the AFL Players Association has agreed to fund Laidley's treatment at a private residential facility. The 53-year-old appeared in court via video link from the Melbourne Assessment Prison. He had his arms crossed for much of the hearing. Several times he looked down at the ground or held his head in his hands. He'll be back in court next month. Annie Kearney for 10 News First.
A Carnival Australia executive has denied he told the New South Wales Ports Authority the Ruby Princess was a non-COVID ship to reverse an 11th-hour decision to stop at docking. The special inquiry hearing that passengers were not told to adhere to social distancing as they were being let off.
As they walked from the ship, Ruby Princess passengers were waved off with signs saying, "Until we meet again." But no warning they may have been infected with COVID-19.
Were Carnival cruises putting in place 1.5 metre distances between each person or in their groups of 100 as they disembarked? Was that a protocol that was put in place?
No, it wasn't.
And why was that?
I don't recall it being a requirement at the time.
But the Special Commission also has this email from the Ruby Princess's hotel manager at 8:28 a.m, the day before it disembarked, to its administration and customer service officers, among others, reading, "NSW-PH would like to see we will make sure distance is guaranteed between the guests. I believe we have a call at 9:30 to discuss."
Were you involved in a call with Mr Faval and Ms Burrows around this time?
I was not on that call. No, I was not.
But one phone call he did take part in involved New South Wales Port Authority executive Emma Fensom after they'd cancelled the ship's permission to dock over concerns 2 patients who needed ambulances were being tested for COVID-19.
Did you use the expression, "it's not a COVID ship," in this phone call?
No, I do not believe I said anything like that. What I may have said is there's no confirmed COVID cases on board at the time.
It had been said that the ambulances are not attending for COVID, that Health had not said that there was COVID on board.
That conversation ultimately led to the ship being allowed to disembark. The first passenger death would occur just 48 hours later. Ursula Hager for 10 News First.
Despite advances in technology, finding vessels and survivors lost at sea has been like searching for a needle in a haystack. Now, though, advances in artificial intelligence and camera technology could make all the difference in saving lives.
Off the coast of southeast Queensland, an Air Force Spartan drops its payload. It's a series of training dummies designed to test Defence's newest search and rescue technology.
It's looking for a heat trail or a difference in colour in the water.
Using artificial intelligence, it scans the ocean below, searching for objects it's been trained to find. In this instance, it's looking for life rafts and lifeboats, but in the future it's hoped it'll help find those lost at sea. While the setup looks simple, it's extremely sophisticated and can be used in any aircraft, including drones.
Up until now, we've relied on eyeballs and people going in a boat.
Southport's Coast Guard is helping the Air Force conduct its testing off Stradbroke Island by retrieving the drop dummies for reuse after the system is tweaked and improved to deal with everything from overturned boats to large swells that would hinder traditional searches.
We can be in the valleys of a wave and barely metres away from an individual in the water.
Even when searching for an upside-down target, the AI search had a 70% detection rate compared to human spotters at just 50%. Its algorithm also didn't deliver any false positives that could potentially waste precious time during a life-or-death rescue mission.
It will make our job so much more efficient and quicker, and time to the rescue and time to get to the individual or the rescue, that is of importance, great importance.
Further testing is on standby until the end of the pandemic. Matthew Howard for 10 News First.
Up next, stay alert. Boris Johnson's pitch to UK citizens as he lays out a new 5-stage warning system for coronavirus. And the drive-in party worth raving about.
Meet the Aussie workers who stayed on the front line, plus the latest from the MasterChef kitchen as the competition starts to sizzle.
If you're struggling to balance work, life and family, you need to shake it up. Ensure Health Shakes help you get the nutrition you need to support your body's changing needs. With a prebiotic, 28 essential vitamins and minerals, including calcium, plus a protein boost. Put more balance in your work-life balance. Shake it up with Ensure.
Now more than ever, we know what families are going through, so you can pick up lots of specials like 10-pack Nescafe coffee sachets or 8-pack gold sachets, now just $3.15 each. That's half price. We want you to always get your Woolies worth.
That's why I pick Woolies. Tough times don't excuse tougher times at home. Even in crisis, there's no place for abuse or domestic violence. If you're worried about your actions or relationship, help is available online and by phone 24/7. For free confidential advice and counselling, contact Men's Line. There's no place for abuse or domestic violence. Help is here. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
This winter, heat your home with Climate and save up to $1,000 on top brands. Right now, big savings on split systems and up to $1,000 savings on ducted systems. Heat your home with Climate and save.
Hi, darling.
Hi, Grandpa.
Are you ready?
Yes.
In a green rolling hill
Lived a giant named Bill.
No one's friend but the hares.
It's more important than ever to stay close. And you can, with an extra 25 gigs of mobile data to use within 30 days. Register via My Telstra app by 30th of June.
With
coronavirus has caused chaos right across the world.
Did you know prices have crashed?
Yeah, big time.
On indoor blinds, outdoor blinds, cafe blinds, roller shutters and security doors.
Even curtains.
Burns for Blinds, massive price crash.
And right now you get free installation. You need to take advantage of this.
Prices crash. Indoor blinds, outdoor blinds, roller shutters and curtains.
Quite frankly, the prices are ridiculous.
And free installation. Sorry, limited offer.
Phone Burns for Blinds now.
It was this photo that she put up of me online. And I was sort of like, why didn't you tell me I was losing my hair?
I thought he knew.
Reached your turning point? The doctors at Ashley & Martin could help regrow your hair.
Experience the delicious intensity of Lindt excellence. By the Lindt Master Chocolatier.
US intelligence have confirmed that the COVID-19 virus is not what? Sam?
Not good.
Well, we've got something good. These Fantastic Five are handing out some lockdown laughs on the new season of Have You Been Paying Attention? Tonight after MasterChef.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has mapped a part out of the country's 7-week lockdown. But outside England, he's already facing a rebellion with the leaders of Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland accusing the PM of sending mixed messages.
Trying to provide clarity about what happens next in the UK.
We must stay alert, control the virus and save lives.
Boris Johnson's ditching of the stay-at-home slogan seemed to have the opposite effect.
I don't know what stay alert means.
The UK went into lockdown together, but England, Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales will come out at their own pace, with controversy over what's right for a nation that's lost 32,000 lives. The PM says it's not the time to lift the lockdown, but wants some people to return to work. Until they do, the government is paying 80% of their wage.
We now need to stress that anyone who can't work from home, for instance, those in construction or manufacturing, should be actively encouraged to go to work.
And from Wednesday, he's extending the daily 1-hour limit on outdoor exercise.
You can sit in the sun in your local park, you can drive to other destinations, you can even play sports, only with members of your own household.
If cases and the daily number of deaths are falling, schools may restart in June. The first restaurants could reopen in July. As Boris Johnson mapped out the road out of lockdown, he also revealed fines will increase for people doing the wrong thing. Anyone over the age of 70 is ordered to stay at home. That includes the 94-year-old monarch.
I send my warmest good wishes to you all.
Queen Elizabeth set to drop public duties indefinitely. Phoebe Bowden for 10 News First, London.
The Trump administration is racing to contain a coronavirus outbreak at the White House, where more than a dozen people have now tested positive. Vice President Mike Pence reportedly self-isolated over the weekend after his press secretary came down with the virus.
I practice aggressive social distancing. I'll wear a mask when I feel it's necessary. It is scary to go to work.
11 Secret Service officers have also been infected, and 3 members of the White House's coronavirus task force have gone into quarantine. German techno fans have been given their party fix amid social distancing restrictions. Hundreds danced the night away in their cars at a drive-in rave party. Lasers, glow sticks and confetti gave the event a more authentic feel. Germany has also seen a resurgence in drive-in cinemas and Sunday mass services during its COVID-19 outbreak. Your 7-day forecast is coming up after the break.
It's MasterChef's biggest ever twist.
We can't have you getting too comfortable in here. You won't know when, you won't know where. We're going to throw a twist in the mix.
They can plan all they want.
There is a twist coming, so we've come up with a simple menu. I reckon we'll be able to adapt.
But nothing
Everyone, stop what they're doing.
can prepare them
Here we go.
for the twist.
You're joking.
Can you guess the twist? MasterChef's Week of Twists, tonight on 10.
From the fields up north to the oceans west, we comb the land for the food that's best. Taste buds to tickle a whole state to feed. Homegrown goodness, that's what we need. Everyday low prices, any time of year. Trust the mighty South Aussie.
With more of your favourite South Aussie brands, great food lives at Foodland.
Foodland, the mighty South Aussies, yeah.
You don't give in, you don't give up. It's called Aussie Spirit, and it takes spirit to get through times like these. It's what inspires us to help. Together we'll get through this. Search Toyota, here to help.
There's more than one way to date, and with eHarmony's new Video Date, you can get to know that special someone without leaving your home. eHarmony has thousands of singles waiting to meet you. So unlock dating with Video Date, the brand new feature from eHarmony.
Unlike most modems, Telstra's smart modem is cleverly backed up by Australia's best 4G network. So if the connection to your house stops, your home Wi-Fi won't, giving you Australia's most reliable home Wi-Fi. To experience better Wi-Fi, visit telstra.com today.
Hi, it's Brendan Nottle from the Salvos. For 140 years, we've stood with Australians in crisis. Today, as we all rise to the challenge of this heartbreaking time, the Salvos are doing all they can to ease the pain and find a way through for the people hardest hit. You can play a powerful role. If you're able, please go to salvationarmy.org.au and give to the Red Shield Appeal now. Together, we can do this.
With prices like these, it's happy days at Haggleco.
Queen size mattress, $149. Queen bed with storage, $399. Queen bedroom suite, $999. 3 and 2 seater, $999. Recliner suite, $999. And gaming chairs from a rockin' $199.
At Coles, we're helping lower the cost of dinner with some of the key ingredients for delicious slow cooker beef with cheesy dumplings. Like Coles no added hormones gravy beef down to $15 a kilo. Save $3. Coles real beef stock 1 litre, just $1.90 every day. And salted butter 250 grams, $2.80 every day. Find this recipe and more at coles.com.au. Coles, helping you lower the cost of dinner. Good things, great value.
Up next, Australia starts to roll back restrictions, some states more cautious than others. Your guide to pickling, why people have taken it up to get through the pandemic. And as the country shut down, these Aussies stepped up. Meet the frontline supermarket workers turned unlikely superheroes. The project next.
To catch up on anything from tonight's bulletin or to share your weather photos, head to our Facebook page or tag 10 News First ADL on Twitter.
It was a freezing morning across South Australia, and Kate Fairbairn, it's about to get worse.
Yeah, Beck, this week we'll record our coldest temperatures of the year, dropping into the single digits right across South Australia. And today we had a taste of it in Adelaide. This morning it dropped to 8 degrees, but that was nothing compared to other parts of the state. The coldest place was Yunta on the way up to Broken Hill, where it hit 0, with colder mornings to come later this week. Tonight's weather photo shows just how cold it was in the Riverland this morning. Loxton dropped below 2 degrees. And Louise Mitten braved the cold, taking this shot at Lirrup. In Adelaide overnight, that low was 8 degrees, but today it warmed up to 18 degrees at 4 o'clock, and currently it's 14 degrees here in Rymel Park. On the satellite photo, most of the cloud over South Australia is through the north of our state. The charts show a large high that's moving off into the east. Tomorrow, a front will cross South Australia, and that will bring rain. Around the country tomorrow, it should be partly cloudy in Brisbane, heading for 24 degrees, sunny and 21 in Sydney. Melbourne should reach 17 degrees, and looking west, Perth will have a warmer day up at 23. In South Australia tonight won't be quite as cold as last night, but still very chilly in Clare, down to 5 degrees. Tomorrow morning will stay dry, but showers will move up from the southwest later in the day. As we look further south, the heavier showers will affect the Mount Lofty Ranges, the southeast and Kangaroo Island. Tops of 19 in Victor Harbour and 16 degrees in Mount Gambier, with a strong wind warning for the lower southeast coast. On local waters, north to northwesterly winds will reach 15 to 20 knots during the morning, with seas increasing to 1.5 metres. Around the suburbs, 19 degrees for Elizabeth, Glenelg and Noarlunga, and 17 degrees in Mount Barker. In the city, down to 10 overnight. Tomorrow we're heading for 19 degrees, partly cloudy, but showers will move over Adelaide by late afternoon and evening. That rain comes with a cool change that'll bring us those very cold mornings and cold days too. Tops of just 16 degrees on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. But by the weekend it's warming up, 18 on Saturday, then morning showers on Sunday. Have a great night. I'll catch you tomorrow.
Thank you, Kate. Before we go tonight, if you want to stay up to date with the very latest on coronavirus in our state, you'll find everything you need to know at sa.gov.au. That's Adelaide's 10 News First for now. Enjoy your evening. Take care. Good night.
Tonight, Australia starts to roll back restrictions, with some states more